Well, hello and welcome back to my channel, Make Life Simple with Sandy. All right, y'all, this could get a little lengthy. I'm gonna try to get everybody caught up. Turn that light off, just putting the glare. I'm gonna try to get everybody caught up with kind of where I've been. I have been MIA for a while. I don't know where to start. Do we start with COVID? Do we start with protests and riots? Do we start with murder hornets? I have no idea. People wearing masks all the time. But anyhow, I had, all right, let me think. I'm trying to think. I forget what my last video was that I put up. But I went back, y'all, I'm not going to remember these dates. It was a few months ago. I had my gallbladder out in 2005. And I just have stomach issues a lot. I'm on like a Protonics and that kind of stuff. So, and it would probably help if I would eat better, which, you know, who does that? But anyhow, I went to have some tests done on my stomach. I had a CT with contrast and a CT without contrast. I had to drink the drink stuff. And they changed it. I had to do one the night before. I've never had to do one. I've never had to do two of them. I had to do one like right before the CT, but not the night before. Anyhow, went in for that, looking at everything, you know, as far as my stomach and all. Well, everything checked out other than they found what they call a bone island. It is a lesion, a cyst, I guess is kind of how it was explained to me, on my right hip, on the left side at my, I think it was S2, I believe. And it was 19 millimeters, okay? It kind of threw up a red flag. As a lot of you know, my brother passed away in 2017 of multiple myeloma. And I have another brother that has I think they actually call it a blood cancer. It's essential thrombosis or something. Anyhow, it's where his red blood cells are too thick. Or his red blood cells are too big, which makes his blood too thick, okay? And for this, he is on a chemo drug. And then in 94, on New Year's Day of 94, my dad passed away of lung cancer that had gotten into the bone, okay? So there's kind of my history. Well, when this bone island, as they call it, popped up, it kind of concerned my family doctor. My family doctor I have been going to him since 1984. I went to his daddy. They were like in a practice together. So I have been his patient since 1984, along with my husband and both my kids. And my grandkids. He's seeing my grandkids now. He's their doctor. But anyhow, he called me and he said, Sandy, I needed you to come in. I want to discuss the report. I said, okay. So I went in. Robert went with me. We're sitting there. He pulls out the report. He calls some other stuff. I've got a cyst in one of my kidneys that they want to just redo in a year or look at or something. But anyhow, this bone island had him concerned. And he told me, he said, I'm really not exactly sure what it is, but I want you to get a nuclear scan. Now, this is not a PET scan, y'all. This is a nuclear scan. It's kind of like what you have whenever you have a gallbladder, you know, to HIDA scan to check your gallbladder. Or I've had one of these done before. It's also the same thing that they do when you go to have a stress test. They put the medicine in you and do the CT scan and all that. So anyhow, he wanted me to have one done to see if there were any other spots. So I went and I had that done. I don't know. I got in and out for these tests pretty fast because our hospital was in the middle of the COVID stuff, and our hospital was just almost shut down. We didn't have any COVID patients out here. We're kind of a smaller hospital. I think they were sending most of which at that time we only had like maybe 5 cases or so. We didn't hardly have any cases in our county. And but anyhow, so I got in and out kind of fast as far as the test because they were just scheduling stuff. A lot of people was canceling elective surgeries just for fear of going to the hospital. And they weren't allowing patients to have visitors, that kind of stuff. Wanted you to wear a mask and all that. So, but anyhow, went in, I had that done. He called me back and he told me, he said, Sandy, he said, it's, he said, I'm a little concerned. You could just tell when you went to a doctor for 30 plus years, you kind of know, you can read them real well. and he is also a friend. He's not just my doctor, he is a friend. And, but anyhow, he said, I'm a little concerned about this. And well, first of all, when we got to the doctor's office, we're sitting there in the doctor's office. And like I said, Robert went with me. And he said, he's talking about you. He said, I heard him mention your name. He was on the phone. And so we're all ears, and all of a sudden he shuts the door. And I thought, well, ain't that just crazy? So, but anyhow, it has to do with HIPAA. It really didn't have to do with me. So, but anyhow, he comes in there, he brings my paper and my results, and he said, Sandy, he said, we need to, he said, I really don't know. And I asked him, I said, well, how many other patients have you had that has one of these? He said, none. And I thought, okay. Well, he is sitting there. He gets a phone call. And he looks at his phone and he said, I need to take this. And then about that time, right before he leaves the room, he takes my paper with him. And I thought, well, I know who that phone call was about. And he's gone for a few minutes. He comes back and he's grinning. He has a mask on, but I can tell he's grinning. He said, oh, good news. He said, what was it? He said, oh, it's Christmas time or something. I said, what? He said, you had a CT scan back in 2017. He said, for something, I don't know why I had it, probably my stomach. And he said, that was there then. He said, this bone island was there then in 2017, and it was the same size. He said it hadn't grown, it hadn't moved, it hadn't done nothing in 3 years. And he said, I'm going to talk to, which I had thought, okay, well, let's just leave it alone. But him and Robert kind of thought, with my history, should we biopsy it? Okay. And he said, well, let me make a few phone calls. And he said, let me talk to some friends that I have in radiology and see what needs to be done. And then, and it turns out that this cyst that is in my hip, all the edges are smooth. My hip bone is smooth. There's nowhere where it looks like it's eat at the bone or the bone is damaged in any way. And if you look them up, it's kind of called a don't touch lesion. In other words, they don't want you going in there messing with it. But that's what, if you look it up, Bone Island, it's inatosis or emetosis or something is the medical name. But if you look, it says don't touch lesion. I thought, okay, well, that means let's don't touch it, even with a needle. So, but anyhow, so what he wants me to do now, he wants me to come back in a year and just have another CT scan done. And they'll check that, they'll check my kidneys and some, everything else. So, but that's I've been running back and forth to the doctor. And then it wasn't long after that, I went to get my teeth cleaned. And a couple days after I got my teeth cleaned, I lost a filling. I thought, dadgum. It was just a little bitty filling. It had been in for about 5 years. So I called my dentist. Of course, this is in the middle of COVID stuff too. And he's doing emergency stuff. I said, would this be considered an emergency? He said, yeah. So went in. And it turned out that the filling fell out because I had gotten a small cavity behind it. So I guess it was loose. Well, I got that fixed. We're all good there. And then business has started booming at the real estate office. Y'all, we have been absolutely covered. And I'm not kidding you. Robert and a couple other agents, they worked, nonstop during the COVID thing, And drove separate cars. We done everything we needed to do as far as the mask and all that kind of stuff. But y'all, we have got, it's just been crazy. We have got a lot of people, I think now, are wanting to move out of bigger cities since all this has happened. But we have just been covered up at work. I have got 2 BoxyCharms back there that I need to film. My empties is running over in the floor. My grandgirls have started back bowling. The oldest one, she's 13. She bowled her high score the other day, a 246. I thought, well, that's just going to do me because I ain't going bowling. I ain't going bowling with my grandgirls, y'all. They're going to make me look bad. Oh, and I made me an iced coffee. If I think about it, I'll put the link down below for you. It's an easy iced coffee. Speaking of which, I need to get me some more creamer to go in them, too. But anyhow, that's kind of where I've been, y'all. I've had test after test done. They've done blood tests. My doctor looked. He told me, he said, Sandy, he said, I have dug all over your records. He said, I can't find anything that shows up in your blood work, or, you know, he was very, I mean, he did some detailed work as far as everything. He said, but he said, we're just going to keep an eye on it and see, you know, do another scan and in a year and see what happens. So, but that's pretty much it, y'all. My Robert's parents, my mom and my mom-in-law and my stepdad-in-law. Robert's dad passed away in 2013, but we've had to get them into, or the kids have had to get them into like a assisted living nursing home. It's just got to where they can't. She was falling a lot and stuff like that, so we've been dealing with all that. So it's just y'all, it's been crazy. I'm sorry, it has just been crazy. And you know, a lot of this stuff it's and I think most people understand it's mentally draining. You know, it drains you mentally, not really physically, but mentally. So, but it has just been crazy. And we finally got my grandgirls over to spend the night. See, we was trying to stay away from them during all this COVID stuff. They would come by, but they wouldn't get out of the car. I would just go stand outside, you know, away from the van and talk to them. And I told them, I said, once this COVID mess is over, I said, I said, both of y'all are going to be saying, Mimi, would you please just get off of me? I've missed them so bad. So, but they come and spent the night the other night. We had a good time. And they're lifting some of the restrictions here in Tennessee. And we've got, I think, y'all, I wish they would do these COVID numbers different. All right. They're reporting now that we have about 31 in our county. Well, sadly, 2 people have passed away that had it. They were both nursing home patients, I believe. But then we had our first case show up months ago, and see we've had several recovered. I wish they wouldn't give the whole total. If they're saying you've got 600 people in your county, how many of them's recovered and how many are new cases? I wish they would put down the new cases, like the ones that are within that 14. And the reasons ours jumped recently, we had a family that went and visited some of their family up around Nashville and came back. And I think this is a family of either 5 or 6 people, and all of them got it. So that's why our numbers have jumped, you know. And I think we've had a few cases in some of our nursing homes too. So, but I wish they would just put down the new cases. How many new cases is it? Because, you know, if people have recovered, we don't need to know about them. They're at an advantage. Hopefully they're immune now. So. But anyhow, y'all, I have rattled for about 15 minutes here, and I'm sorry. Like I said, I kind of wanted to let everybody know where I'm at, kind of what's going on. I'm going to probably do both of those BoxyCharms together, and then I'm going to do my empties. I'm really wanting to do some more cooking videos. Oh, and let me tell you this. There have been some things. If you have done Walmart pickup during this, you have found out they're out of a lot of things, and they're substituting a lot of things. Well, y'all, I had some things that was substituted in some of my grocery pickup orders that I'm now buying because I didn't realize how much I liked them. So I'm going to do a video on some of those too. So, but y'all, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to get back on here and get going again. And hopefully get back in the swing of things. So I'm ready for life to get back to normal. I'm tired of the COVID. I'm tired of people protesting and well, peaceful protesting is okay, but it seems like a bunch of these protests has been hijacked, and they're just breaking windows and burning stuff and painting monuments and all kind of stuff like that. Now, there's just no sense. That's just ridiculous. You know, I mean, the police officer that done that to Floyd should go to jail for the rest of his life, or hang him. I don't care. He shouldn't have done what he done to that man. Okay, we all know that. That is unacceptable, and to me, it's unforgivable. But out here looting and tearing stuff up is not right either. So we don't need to be doing that. So, and then of course, then they come out before that. They was talking about murder hornets. What in the Hades is a murder hornet? And, you know, it's like, what else does 2020 have for us? And now I'm sitting here, and we have a tropical storm coming through that's called Cristobal, or as some of them are saying, crystal ball. I'm thinking, oh Lord, what else is next? So, but y'all, thank you so much, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll be back on here, okay? But thank you so much, and have a great day, and God bless.